when you get into the purpose of your life, why are you here? That's a whole nother ball of wax. But I do feel like our occupation falls under that. When I was an undergrad, I had thought about medicine. My dad actually was a medical malpractice defense attorney. So growing up, I was around a lot of his friends who were physicians, so I was definitely interested in medicine. He had a lot of medical knowledge due to his specific type of law practice. But I guess I felt like most of the people that I saw pursuing medicine were extremely focused on just that. And I had a lot of different things I was interested in, so it was hard for me to feel like I was ready to sort of make the commitment to just everything I had to do academically to be able to reach that point. But I explored a couple different things sort of in the interim. I actually became a science teacher right after school. And I'd been interested in teaching. I'd actually been a music education major for a brief period of time. So I thought about teaching and really enjoyed teaching. But at the same time, there was still something kind of missing. While I was teaching, I also I'd actually considered going to seminary. I had thought about a lot of things, and the teaching schedule didn't really make it feasible for me to go to seminary courses at the same time. And I had some EMT training when I was an undergrad, so I decided I would go back to EMT school. So I did that while I was teaching and became an EMT, and I felt like that would give me a little more flexibility for going to school. What I found out actually is I really liked working in the medical field, and at that point I was married, so I spent a lot of time talking to my wife and making sure that if this was a commitment I undertook, that she was prepared for the kind of time it was going to involve and everything, and she was very supportive about it. So I taught for 4 years, and I was an EMT for 4 years, and after about 2 years of being an EMT, that's when I decided I wanted to apply to medical school. School has actually been a really nice change of pace. I like having a regular schedule. I like sitting down and learning as opposed to just doing all the time. The things I do most often are as I go hiking or biking. Being in the outdoors definitely affects me spiritually, and I think nature does help me reconnect with God, because it just makes me just feel how awesomely small I am in comparison to everything else around me, and it gets me away from the busyness and the hecticness that I normally have going on. At this point, because I like teaching so much, I'm very interested in academic medicine, so I would love to be involved in teaching or academic leadership. And with that, I could see myself educating students. I certainly could do some overseas work and take medical students for training and education and affect the populations there. And they do things like what's happening in town with student-run clinics. Medicine is so engaging to me because it employs so many different aspects. I mean, because I wanted to be a pastor too, or I thought about ministerial education. I get to talk to people who are going through very difficult situations. I get to use my mind to assess their illness and assess test results and sort of be a detective to try to figure out what's going on with them. I get to possibly do, depending on what kind of medicine I choose, possibly get to do procedures and work with my hands and do something technical to intervene. So to me, that just felt like an opportunity to use so many different aspects of my mind and my physical abilities. And to me, that's where you're most fulfilled, is where you feel like you're using the gifts you've been given to the greatest extent. And that's where I felt like medicine would allow me to do.